So if I'm the devil, and I want to make you play yourself, I want to make you count yourself out, I'm going to put everything in your face to make you feel like you are not called to do what you are called to do. I'm going to put people around you that's going to tell you they love you and tell you that you can't be successful in this area because this is not what God has for you. That is too big of a calling for you. I'm going to make you feel that way. Why not? I'm the devil. I come to steal, kill, and destroy. I'm going to destroy your future. I'm going to destroy your destiny. I'm going to destroy your relationships. I'm going to destroy how you think of yourself. That is what the devil does. That's what he is sent here to do. Hey y'all, it's your little big sis CJ Renee, and I'm back here with another episode. How y'all doing? Oh my gosh, y'all. Thank you so much first of all, for the support, for all the well wishes. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. Let me tell you something. If you're not going to get anything, you are going to get word, and you are going to receive healing and deliverance, because that's what this platform is all about. It's not about the trauma that we suffered as much as it is about the trauma that we suffered and made us who we are today. Okay? And taking a step further, pushing us forward in God, and making us more of who we're called to be in God through thriving and making better life decisions for ourselves each and every day. For those of you who have shared my video, for those of you who have commented, liked, and posted, thank you so much for getting the word out there that it's not just a platform for talking, that it's also about healing. And thank you for reaching out to me and letting me know how my words have touched your heart and have helped you and healed you. I really love to hear that from, my viewers. This is not just, a platform for content. This is a platform for building relationships and having community and being a part of something that is greater than yourself. So thank you for that. Thank you for letting me know I am on my right path. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into today's episode. So I did write down notes because, y'all, I was a little caught up in my emotions last time, and I'm not trying to do that again. So I have some set notes just to keep me on point. Okay, so today's episode is called When What You Feel Does Not Match What You Know. But I did it in a very ghetto way, so we're going to write it. We're going to say it the way I wrote it. When what you feel don't match what you know. Some of us go through that very, very, very often, right? Like, it is ridiculous. Sometimes what you see is confusing. It's like, but God said, but what I'm looking at is not what God said, so I'm confused, right? People hear discouraging word, like, you may have this on your heart, like, that this is what God is giving you to do, but somebody's telling you, I don't think you could do it. I don't think you got the time, the money, or the equipment to do it. You may want to reconsider, maybe give it to somebody that's bigger than you, that's more available than you are. But God gave it to you. And it's discouraging to hear people around you, especially those who love you and care about you, and the people that you love and you care about, give you an opposite word of what God gave you. It's like, I don't understand this. This is not what God said, right? And sometimes straight up what you feel is like, God, are you here? You told me to include you in everything I'm doing. You told me to involve you in my lifestyle. You told me to involve you in my decision making. But I feel, there's that feel word, I feel like you're not around. I feel like you're not listening. I feel like I'm going in the wrong place, the wrong direction. And I feel like this is not right for me. God, please help me. We have those moments all the time, right? But if you can hold on to what you know, right? What you know to be true, what you know that God promised you, the calling that God has placed on your life. If you can hold on to that, trust me, you will still move forward no matter what it looks like, no matter what it sounds like and what it feels like. You will still move forward. So let's talk about the conflict between feeling versus knowing, right? So I feel like that's something that I deal with myself. especially when I was coming in the starting point of my relationship with God, and even in the starting point of my healing journey. I think that was something that was very, 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 very relevant for me. It was something that I can actually say that happened to me more than often, right? My feelings and the situation I'm seeing and what's in front of me did not add up with what God gave me, and what He told me, would be for me. Like, growing up, I always heard the word that I'm a prophetess. I've always heard that word over my life. That was something I'm sent here to heal, deliver, and set free the people of God. And it sounds so big and extravagant that I never took it on as an actual thing, right? Not only that, but then, like, look at the way that my life, the trajectory of my life, and the direction it went in. And I'm like, something's wrong here. Something is wrong here. Okay, and it's confusing, because then you have emotions and outside noise that begins to pull on your feelings in those times when it's like, you know who God has called you to be, but then you're feeling upset, you're feeling drowned, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling annoyed, you're feeling whatever your feelings are. And then you also have outside noise, people giving their opinions on what your life is, and even you being having your own insecurities that you're dealing with that may determine how you react to a certain situation, or how you will show up in a certain situation. These are all things that are going against what God has told you. And so that is how your feelings go against what you know. It is how the conflict of your feelings versus what you know will show up. I remember when I first started my healing process, my healing journey, and I remember feeling like, I am moving along. I am doing better. I am growing. I am becoming the person that God has called me to be. I am starting to change. But then things around me, people around me, still made me feel as though I was the same person. Like I couldn't be trusted to make better decisions for myself. Like I had to be coddled and secured. And it made me feel very weary about what is my growth looking like if this is how you feel about me. But your emotions, other people, the emotions of other people have nothing to do with what God said and what you know to be true. The power of knowing is where I want to go next. The power of knowing is truth over emotion, right? So I'm gonna give y'all some scripture. Jeremiah 1:5 says, "I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. Before you were born, I set you apart and appointed you as my prophet to the nations." So when you're sitting at home and you're thinking about what God says about you, I want you to be very clear that God has made you wonderfully and beautifully. He has created you to be a purpose-driven living soul on this earth that has reason to be here. You're not here by accident. You're not here by chance. He thought about you before you was ever formed in your mother's womb. Understand that God had a purpose before He sent you here. He is your creator. So when you're sitting here thinking, I can't, I won't, it doesn't look like I will, remember who God called you to be. You are His child. You are His creation. God does not make creation just to fill up the earth. Everything that He has put on this earth has a purpose and has a reason for being here. Understand that. Look around. Step outside your house for a moment. I'm looking at trees. These trees bring oxygen. Okay? These trees bring oxygen and food for the animals, if need be. Plants, these buildings, these structures, all these things that God has put on earth, that even some that God put on earth in people's mind to create. Vehicles, the air, everything has a purpose. It all serves a purpose. Romans 8:28. This is for those of you who have suffered a hard time and a hard life. This is for you. "And we know that God causes everything to work together for good of those who love God and are called according to His word, His purpose for them." Did y'all hear that? Called according to His purpose for Him. So you going through what you're going through, you face what you face, you dealt with what you dealt with, and now you're thinking, oh, I'm used up. I'm no good for what God has called me to be. I'm not going to accomplish the things that God has called me to accomplish because I messed up here. I did this, I did that. But the devil is a liar, and the devil uses doubt, unbelief, insecurities to weigh you down, to make you feel like God can't and God won't, and God forgot about you. And the devil is a liar. Okay, the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. That's his purpose. So if I'm the devil, and I want to make you play yourself, I want to make you count yourself out, I'm going to put everything in your face to make you feel like you are not called to do what you are called to do. I'm going to put people around you that's going to tell you they love you and tell you that you can't be successful in this area because this is not what God has for you. That is too big of a calling for you. I'm going to make you feel that way. Why not? I'm the devil. I come to steal, kill, and destroy. I'm going to destroy your future. I'm going to destroy your destiny. I'm going to destroy your relationships. I'm going to destroy how you think of yourself. That is what the devil does. That's what he's sent here to do. Remember that the devil works for God. The devil's only put on assignment by God. So when you're thinking, oh, the devil's attacking me, the devil's attacking me, understand that this is the way God shows you who you are in him. He puts you through situations. It's like going to the gym. You can't say that you were strong until you're able to lift heavy weight. You can't say that you're fit to run unless you ran a couple miles. You can't say that you know how to drive until you get behind the wheel and start actually driving. You can't say that you are God's child and that you are able to defeat the enemy and anything that comes your way. God, you know that God got you and he will cover you and protect you unless you've went through some things that God had to cover and protect you from. And that's just the reality of the situation. So remember that when you're in your seasons of frustration, in your seasons of, I don't know if I can, in your seasons of second guessing what God has called you to do, second guessing what God told you to do, second guessing whatever. Remember this. Feelings fluctuate. Feelings are up one day, down the next. I remember saying to somebody the other day, when the sun is out, I'm at my happiest. It's true. When the sun is out, I am at my happiest. But there were times when it was raining out, and I was still happy. I was ecstatic. I mean, people asking me, what is wrong with you? You got a bread bowl today? No, I'm just happy. I'm alive. I'm in God. I have joy. I have peace. You know, people tend to forget that feelings come and go. And I'm here to remind you, feelings fluctuate. But the truth that God has placed on you, the truth of what God has told you, the promises, the truth of the promise that God has given you, that's forever. That ain't switching up on nobody. God don't switch up on nobody. I said that last video. God don't switch up on nobody. We switch up on him. Right? So with that being said, whatever God has told you to do, go do it. I was watching y'all don't judge me, okay? I'm a Disney Channel kid, and I know I'm a grown woman. But, y'all, Disney Channel make me happy, okay? So, I'm sitting there watching Disney Channel. And this particular episode was with Good Luck Charlie when she went to the Winston's, I think they called it Winston's. She went to the Winston's house, and the father was sitting there. He's sad. He's disheartened, and he's like, you know, I hate this. And she's like, what's wrong? He was like, is this all my life has come to be? You know, he got an award for, I guess, like the plumber of the year. And it was like a plunger spray painted with glitter. And she was like, well, that's unfortunate. It was hilarious. But anyway, the point is, she's sitting there talking to him about this commercial she saw about some gym. And it was two gophers, and they're sitting there having this conversation about the gym. And he's like, I would never be able to get on I would never be able to go to the gym. I'm just a gopher. And he was like, exactly. You need to go for it. Go for it. And it was like, it's corny, but it was funny. And she's like, you know, Mr. Winston, go for it. And he was like, go for it. And basically, she was encouraging him to go for his dreams, go for what was on his heart. And he didn't even let the week go by. He opened his restaurant same day, it seemed like. Took all his savings out and went ahead and opened his restaurant. And it was successful. So I'm saying that to say this. You sitting here second guessing yourself. You sitting here thinking that God, if God said this, then why does it look like this? And why does it? Because you know what? God has to get the glory out of your life. He has to get the glory out of your situations. God has to be first and foremost in everything that you put your hands to do. So if that's the case, why would God allow you to, in your own strength, make things happen? With that being said, it is your little big sis, CJ Renee. And this has been an episode of 31 and Thriving. Love you guys. Bye. To ensure you don't miss an episode of 31 and Thriving, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to share. It's your little big sis, CJ Renee.